What's going on, everybody? CastleCrag back with another Monster Hunter Wilds weapon overview. Ignore the horrible fake accent right there. I started like mumbling. It was, I don't know. The word was coming out of my mouth weird, so I just rolled with it. Today, we're going to be talking about the lance. This is actually one of the more exciting ones for me. I played a chunk of the lance in World Iceborne, and I really liked it. Then, came Rise Sunbreak, and I was looking forward to what they were going to do with the lance in that game, and then I was very disappointed. I won't lie. I'm very disappointed in what they turned the lance into in Rise Sunbreak. I really hope that Wild is not a continuation of that train, and it's more of a redesign, almost a redesign even, to the point where it's more, if it has to be more similar to one of them, I prefer World Iceborne with maybe a bit more aggression. World Iceborne certainly allowed you to be aggressive as a lance user, but I just did not at all like the style of play in Rise Sunbreak, and I hope that's not the direction they go. To other lance mains out there, if that's what you prefer is the Rise Sunbreak version, to be honest, I don't expect it to be that again, because that's from one of the arcade style games. It used to be kind of the mobile games, and now they're not really mobile games anymore. They're just less serious, I guess, less grounded than the mainline games. Less realistic, I guess. And Wilds here is a bit more of a mainline, more grounded game. So I hope and expect it to not be too much in that direction. There might be some bits. I do expect there to be a perfect guard counter, but that's about it, perhaps. And I hope, because it was just not what I liked in that game. I wanted it to be different. And I'm hoping that this design is going to be pretty unique, bordering on almost a full rework. There's only so much they can do, being it, making it be the tanky shield weapon, stab, poke, all that kind of stuff. But I'm excited to see what they've done. I've been looking forward to the lance, honestly, since the first video came out. I was hoping it would be soon. It was not. For dual blades users had to wait till last, apparently. But lance is second to last, which is not too surprising because, to be honest, it seems like Capcom doesn't care a whole lot about the lance. Not gonna lie. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started over here. We're gonna pull this guy up. Before we get started, I'm gonna ask that you leave a like, share, subscribe, all that normal stuff. Comment below after watching the video, just so you hear my final thoughts and perhaps some corrections that I make to earlier statements or thoughts that I've had. And let's go ahead and get started with the initial watch through. So the initial watch through, like usual, will be just a straight through watching it. If I pause, it'll only be because something crazy is being shown, or maybe I might pause on the weapon, but just on the armor set and all that. And then we'll do an analysis afterwards of, hey, we're going to stop here, go frame by frame here, all that kind of stuff. The slow analysis will be after. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Yeah, let's go back. First things first. I want to take a look at this set. What on earth is this? just based on the way these blades are, I'm going to assume this is another new monster. Those appear to be like blades / shields. They're odd. They're the tip end of blades. I'm thinking looking on the design here, and this is a shot in the dark, obviously, because we know nothing. I don't recognize this armor set from anything before. Doesn't mean it's not from something before that I should recognize, but just based on how it is, I would almost think this is a new monster in the vein of Uragon and Radabon, some kind of roly monster that instead of the metal ore or the bones, maybe has blades for some reason. I don't know. It's almost like no, it doesn't look anything like Nurgi armor. Yeah, that's cool looking. I didn't notice that before. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Voomp. Voomp. I can't even. It looks gorgeous though. It's nice and veiny. Oh god, thrusting. Alright, we're just moving on. Alright, so top class defense. Blocks make sense. Showing up the defense. The little back hops, that's normal. Goes back to blocking. Those are very fast stabs. It's like stab, dodge, stab, dodge, stab, dodge. That is faster than I think it normally is. Correct me if I'm wrong. It almost looks like not even the regular stab move. Because with Lance, you got the upper and then the mid stab. I don't know, mid thrust, I think, and upper thrust, something like that. Or it could just be regular thrust and high thrust, something like that. So these almost look more like the guard thrusts. Because the shield comes in front and then stab. I don't know if that's the normal animation. Maybe it is. It's been a while since I've touched the lance, to be honest. So just gonna ignore with a. Yeah. Okay. It looks fast, which, a lot of people do think of the lance as a defensive weapon, and it is a defensive weapon if you want it to be. But it's also a weapon, because of its high defense, allows you to actually be pretty darn aggressive. You can target monster points pretty accurately and just stab. You can just hit the same part over and over, and you can actually get some good part damage and very specific targeting on the monsters with this weapon. And because of how, again, defensive it is, it allows you to be actually pretty darn aggressive, which I think is an underappreciated aspect of the lance for people that don't really use it or understand it. But yeah, that looks fantastic. Fast. Those are so quick. They're so quick. I'm actually pretty happy with that. It's like boom, 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 boom. You just dodge out of the way and instantly stab. It's very much like the gun lance with its sidestep shelling. And I think we have a finisher move here. And we have what appears to be a finisher move. That, I think, is brand new. We've seen that move before. It's usually the end of the choo-choo train, the charge, where you get the shield up and then you press, I think, both the attack buttons and you just start charging. I don't remember what it's called. It's some sort of charge. Maybe shield charge. Might be shield charge. although Shield Charge, I think, was a switch skill in Rise Sunbreak that actually used the shield specifically. Or maybe it's Shield Rush and Shield Charge are two separate things. That might be it. Not, again, Lance users from Rise Sunbreak remind me, but this is very clearly that finisher move from the regular one that they introduced in World Iceborne, but just from a standstill, just from your regular moveset here. Let me just realize, turn that down. Yeah, just from your regular moveset here. And it looks... Boom, boom, boom. There's a double hit and then the stab. It looks like it was an optional stab. Could have just been a high thrust, I suppose. It doesn't seem like just a high thrust, though. That seems like a finisher move. I really like that. And, okay, so let's also get a look at this here. There's a shield counter, which presumably does blunt damage. So they did introduce in Rise Sunbreak a couple, or at least one, shield-based move. I believe it was the charge. I think there were two, actually. I think there was a sidestep where you could either thrust or shield bash, and then a replacement for that charge where you actually were charging with the shield. This counter, I like. So the Lance, at least again in World Iceborne, did have counters. That was a normal thing for it. It had its counter, regular counter stance, then the power guard. This here seems to be more of a guard point. Yeah, that seems to be almost a guard point where you time your guard exactly on time, exactly right, to the monster's attack, and it counters with the shield, as opposed to pressing the guard and then, I want to say, circle B, circle or B, depending on which control you have, I think the secondary attack, the high thrust button, and it would enter you into a slight counter stance for like maybe a second, and if you got hit during that, you could counter afterwards. But it would take a block, but it would block, right? I think they show that here. That actually looked like the power guard stance. The blue highlighting makes me think, and the down to a knee makes me think he goes straight into that. So it goes straight into what appears to be the power guard. Because he goes, takes a knee right here. Sorry, that's the regular. Now the normal counter stance, I believe you only take a step back and put the shield out. It's just back and shield. Whereas with this, you're taking a knee, which is typically the power guard stance, which was you do that counter stance and then you press, I think, X, cross, or the on PlayStation, I think it's X. And then on Xbox, it would be A. I think that's the button you press. It doesn't really matter. There's another button input that you press that you go take a knee and really, really try and tank it. And I think it gave you an extra, like 2 levels of guard, as well as what is it? The skill that allows you to guard any attack. Right, because there's some attacks that are unblockable unless you have the special skill. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it right now. That's a bit annoying. Oh well. You can see I don't play a whole lot of shield weapons. I should know this because I played Gunlance. Now I gotta look it up. This is gonna be irritating. Guard up. Damn it. Yep, guard up. That's what it is. But it would allow you to block unblockable attacks. But this gave you that to some degree, as well as the extra levels of guard, and then you could counter afterwards. Basically, it was just if it was your down things hit the fan kind of a button. Try not to curse here. And you would just pop it if there was no way of getting out of the attack any other way. Looks like you go straight down into that. Again, we got a shield counter. Yeah, and it's straight into it. It also had the blue light, like the blue effect around you, as opposed to the regular counter, which has a red effect, typically. And so what do we see? Do we see here? We see a counter with a high thrust, a jumping high thrust, okay, and with a mid thrust followed by a charge. And then the backwards like the turn around and sweep. Our focus mode here, which is so this is interesting. This is straight some Rise stuff, I think, right here. We have a shield bash, which is new. That's our focus mode attack, which it's funny, honestly, because it's the lance, which is typically one of the easier weapons to hit specific points with. And our focus mode attack is, instead of using the lance, the pokey thing that can target has a tiny little point, and you can target specific points, we use the damn shield. It's just funny to me. Shield, and we bash, and then we do our shield rush followed by a stab, which does hit the weak point. So I like that. Sorry, let's see this again here. Now we got our... I'm sorry, what the hell? He's starting up an attack right here. This is a charged attack right here. He blocks. Blocks, counters with the shield slap, and stabs the charge stab at the same time. That's crazy. This is our normal, with our regular rush attack and the jump attack, that's normal. And then our clash with the monster, where we have the shield in its mouth and we bash it aside. Okay. I actually like that a lot. This was fun. That makes the lance exactly what it kind of went the direction I was hoping it would, I think. Again, we'll see when we get actual playtesting, but I'm excited about that. They did what I wanted, basically, I think, with the weapon. I didn't know exactly what I wanted, so I was leaving it up to the team at Capcom, of course, to figure out what we wanted. That, for me, is what I wanted. Very excited about that. There's some counterplay, also some shit, like, wow, just fantastic. Also, that weapon looks super cool. This is how I think the lance should be. They showed it as being fairly aggressive there, but also able to tank hits. Now, obviously, the lance typically, because of how defensive it is, typically it's never going to be the biggest offensive weapon. That's okay. It's still pretty darn good. If it does enough smaller ticks of damage, it could be a decent elemental choice instead of raw. And if that's the case, that would probably be my main elemental weapon, because I don't care as much. I don't like longsword. I don't mind longsword users as long as they're not stupid, because there are a lot of good longsword users out there who are really helpful when you're on a hunt. They do a lot of damage, and if they know what they're doing, they're at the tail when you're not. So you don't have to bother with flinch free or something like that. But yeah, it's just not a weapon for me. The dual blades, also not really my kind of weapon. I'm trying to think of other elementals. Bow I can do, but that's a ranged weapon, so it's its own thing anyway. Greatsword, obviously my main. gun lance, my second weapon typically. Hold on. Oop, there we go. Sorry, wife was here. Anyways. Yeah, I'm just going over weapons. Trying to think of a weapon that I would use for elemental damage otherwise. Sword and shield I would use. I do like sword and shield as well. This seems to take some of the things from it that I like, which is some of the blunt damage, along with slashing. So that's kind of cool. Certainly doesn't have the same kind of... Obviously, it's not a sword and shield, but very neat. Let's see what else. I'll do hunting horn. Hammer is more of a raw weapon. Insect glaive. Yeah, I guess that one did look pretty good too. Man, I just want to try everything. That's the conclusion. I want to try everything. This looks great. I'm very happy with the direction they took with this. If you're a Lance user, I mean, all 5 of you out there, let me know in the comments below what you think of this. But I'm very happy with it. I think they did a fantastic job. I think it's going to be awesome to play. And I'm very excited for the future of this. Because there's definitely some stuff I think they haven't shown us. And we don't know how some of this stuff is actually there in the game at this point. We don't know what form it takes to be able to do some of this stuff. So I saw some people throwing around the idea that it was hunting styles being brought back. I don't think that's the case, but we do have what appears to be the adept dodge shown now in two videos. Shown in the last video with the bow for sure, and shown in, I don't remember what the other one was. Longsword maybe. Something like that. I don't remember, but we've seen it in 2 separate videos, what appears to be the adept dodge. It could just be that weapon, because those weapons don't have blocking moves. Could just be that they get that instead of the counter that staggers the monster. Could be. Though I would still expect those weapons to have counters that stagger the monster, because that's not, like, they can dodge out of the way and then counter it. It's fine. Either way, yeah, it's very good look. This looks awesome. So happy for this. Again, let me know in the comments below what you think, and like the video, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll catch you in the next one, which tomorrow will be dual blades as the only weapon left, unless they decide, hey, we don't need to give you anything anymore. But yeah, no, tomorrow, dual blades. See you there. Have a nice rest of your day, and goodbye.